How do you look back at We Slept at Last? How do you look at having made this new record? How do you look back now?
I look back on it very fondly. I love that record. I'm very proud of it. I haven't listened to it for a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And I haven't really been performing many of the songs from it for a very long time either. So it definitely feels like that's a different world for me now, which is, you know, it's something that I reference in this record. I reference it a lot, and it's on the artwork as well, because I don't want to, just because I've gone somewhere new, you know, like I always say, it still exists. It's still a big part of my identity. But yeah, it's funny. I haven't listened to any of those songs for a really long time.
Well, you mentioned the artwork, and I went on the website, and there was a kind of, you have to click and find those things. I could find all but 2.
Ah, God, that's annoying.
So, but they kind of reference all kinds of things that are important to you, and so did you know before, and kind of when everything was starting up, certain things that you wanted to talk about?
What, in musically or on the artwork?
No, in the music.
No, I didn't. I kind of never have an idea of what I'm going to say before I write a song. It's always the first line normally is just comes out of nowhere, and then I take that and kind of roll with it. And to me, it's really important that the words fit syllabically with the rhythm of the melody. I hate lyrics that feel like they don't fit over the music. I think it's quite lazy. I think it's really important to me because it's so musical. Words can be so musical, and if you're writing music, then you should be trying to pair those two up. So I usually go from that direction, and there's a lot of me just singing quite weird noises, and certain notes work better if you're making like an E sound or an O sound and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all taken into consideration, and then generally I'll have an idea of where it's going, and I might kind of slightly push and pull it in different directions depending on how I'm feeling, but I kind of usually sit down at the end and look back and think, oh, okay, that's what that's about.
Right. But so does the music in that way drive the lyrics in hindsight, if you look at it?
Yeah, I think so. Because obviously there's the more somber songs, and that was certainly like the melody would hit first, and I wasn't then going to write a kind of incredibly upbeat number along to that. So yeah, I think it does drive it. But also I just think, you know, we're kind of like sponges. We're just soaking up all this stuff that's going on around us all of the time. And for me, music is a way that I kind of distill everything in my head and separate it. And I guess it just kind of comes out of me somehow. Again, it's one of those things where I don't quite know the process, which makes it quite scary, but it's also really exciting because sometimes things just click.
So in a way, it's a kind of a stream of consciousness.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you then about the. Well, I'll let you pick a song on the record. Which one gave, in looking back at it, surprised you most?
Yeah, probably Boyfriend.
Okay. How come?
I wasn't intending to really talk about sexuality or my sexuality on this record. I didn't. That's something that I've never wanted to necessarily be defined by in my music. It's certainly all there in all of the early records. You just can't really hear it because it's kind of talking about woods and stuff like that. But that song and those lyrics just came out of nowhere, and I had to kind of sit down afterwards and think, am I ready? Like, do I feel like I can put this out in the world and feel like strong enough that this isn't going to be the thing that defines me, but also hopefully be some sort of role model for other people? Like, am I there yet in my head? And I just thought, fuck it, yeah, I definitely am. And I think that was again like another really defining moment on this record for me in the writing of it. I kind of just felt like I felt brave enough to feel like I actually had something to say, because you know, you can have lots of ideas about things and personal feelings, but sometimes you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that because maybe people don't care, or like I'm not in a position where I can. And I kind of realised that I am, and I can do it.
Does that become, because obviously you did well with your last album, and then you know you have an audience, so does that become an element where you think, well, people are going to listen to this?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. That like, I try not to think too much about, you know, who's listening, how many people are listening, and I like to hear what people think about my music.
Right.
But I think that can get like quite a dangerous brain cycle, and it starts to influence how you maybe write in the future, and I never want that to happen.
Okay.
So as long as I'm happy with stuff, I hope that people will listen to it. So yeah, it's one of those things.
And then Boyfriend, it's a single and it has been out, so have you had responses to it?
Yeah, and it's been positive,
okay.
and I'm really glad that I kind of stepped up to the plate,
right.
yeah, as it were. Yeah, no, it's been really, really good, really positive and really exciting. It's made me really excited for people to hear this record, because I think it's one of those songs on there that kind of really sums up a lot of the sounds and the kind of feeling of the record. I love the way it opens with that laugh. There's a lot of fun in there, but there's quite a strong message, and then the music's quite dark, but then it suddenly gets quite kind of bouncy, and I think it kind of encapsulates a lot of what the record's about. So to have a very positive response to that makes me feel quite excited for people to hear.
And well, you mentioned something, and then because you mentioned Nirvana was one of those bands whose songs are quite dynamic. They start off very softly, and then they go louder, and then it kind of goes. So was that kind of the idea as well for you, that to have a lot of elements in the song, and then
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always written quite like that anyway. And then working with Charlie, my producer, he's very hot on dynamics in music. And so we went into the rehearsal studio, me and the Big Moon, and we were just kind of thrashing through, having a lot of fun and making it all very loud. And we kind of, once we'd all got our head around the parts and we were playing it, it was just a really exciting moment. And then Charlie came in the next day and was like, okay, like, let's bring it back here, and kind of, and he was doing all these really funny hand movements, and we kind of like to make us like grow in sound and then make it really big and then bring it all back. Like, he's really good, and it gives the record so much space, and it makes it a really exciting listen. So that was also quite kind of Charlie driven, because I was getting ahead of myself, just wanting to make everything sound quite loud.
Yeah, because when you started with this idea of playing with the band, did you kind of, because obviously you played with people you didn't work with before, so did you go and tell them, okay, I want this? Did you have a clear picture in your head and go, okay, I want this for a bass line and this for a guitar part? And
yeah, so I'd arranged all of the parts, basically because at that point I didn't have anyone to play with me, but I knew I wanted to make a live band record, and that all playing together at the same time was a really important thing for me for this record. So I'd arranged all of the parts, and then I asked the Big Moon if they would be up for playing on the record with me, and so sent them over the parts. But also I wasn't being, you know, a massive control freak about it. If anyone wanted to add, like, there's some great sounds in there. Soph's kind of slamming around her guitar, making some amazing noises. Jules wrote a few little amazing guitar licks, and Fern's kind of added fills and stuff. You know, everyone was having their input, and that was also important, because if you want to work with people, there's a reason you want to work with them, and you can't let your ego get in the way and kind of be like, no, this is my thing. It's more like, I want to make a really good record with you guys. So that's kind of how it happened. But I definitely like laid the foundations of the parts, and then we kind of had a bit of room for fun in between that. Okay.
Finally, I want to talk about, and I'm not sure if to what length you discussed this on the new album, but the bacon and egg smiley.
Yeah.
So what was the inspiration for that?
So working with Tristan, who's the painter, and he's a friend of mine, we had a lot of discussions about things, and we're both quite interested in the digital age that we're in, and where we're kind of headed with that. And so that's a reflection of sort of, you know, how we use emojis and things like that to communicate, rather than just talking to each other a lot. It's it shows that kind of screen that we now have constantly in front of us. And then obviously the egg's a very classic kind of female symbol in so many ways. It's kind of like the ultimate female symbol. So it was important to have that on there, especially when it's juxtaposed with the cucumber smiley in the opposite corner. And again, that was another reflection of the digital age. There's some fireworks going off. Because on the vinyl, to see the cucumber smiley, you actually have to turn it, so it makes it a physical thing, so that you then become aware of the fact that you're holding something in your hands that isn't in front of you existing in the ether. So there's like a lot of stuff how it kind of like links.
But is it in that sense then maybe I'm going too far in this, but because you talk about the patriarchal society and the kind of turning the patriarchal society upside down.
Yeah. I mean, this is all like, and this is all Tristan's brain as well as mine. We've kind of talked at length about it. But yeah, I mean, all of those references that are on there as well. Like you can keep digging into them because they're all very like large topics that kind of span through the album and just through the world at the moment. They seem to be something that everyone's talking about, which was kind of not something I wasn't trying to kind of jump on any bandwagon. It kind of just happened that way, I guess, because it's just all around us. But yeah, definitely, it's kind of flipping stuff on its head.
Very last question then, because you mentioned this kind of the digital age that we live in, and then as a public figure in a way, you are in a way forced to engage in it. So what is that like?
I mean, yeah, if I had my way, I would just have a little phone that made phone calls and texts. Like I'm really not into that side of things. Like I don't have a personal Facebook account or anything like that. My tweets generally are kind of either if there's something that feels very important to me that I want to share, or it's like information about what I've been up to in my record. I certainly won't be like tweeting about breakfast or like watching something on TV, you know, like I don't think that's important for people to know about me. And you know, I like to maintain a certain amount of privacy. So yeah, Instagram is it's a tricky one. At least there's an element of art in that as well. You can be quite artistic through Instagram, and I quite enjoy that aspect of it. But yeah, it's not something I would like to have to associate myself with so much.
And to make the interview full circle, because I started with asking about this period, the anxiousness, and part of kind of this day and age is everybody has an opinion, and then this technology makes it very easy to share that opinion. So is that, you mentioned that if you are pleased yourself, then that's fine, but can you block that out?
I don't try and block it out. I like to see what people think, even if it's negative. It's just interesting. I find it interesting. Even if I might read something and be like, oh, well, that's not very nice, or like, well, I think that's bullshit. You know, it's still interesting when you've kind of been hidden from the world for a year or so, creating something, to put it out there. I don't see why you wouldn't want to know what like as many people as you could find would think, because it's even if it's not going to affect how I write my next record or how I feel about my own record. It's just fascinating, like how people respond to stuff.
Is there one specific comment that you remember, not necessarily from the last couple of weeks, or?
I mean, there was one for Ophelia on the first record where someone just commented saying this is the worst song in the world, and I just found that quite funny because it's just very strong. I mean, yeah, if that's what he thinks, that's fine. But
Marika, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sweet.